Hey everyone, James Reeves with TFBTV. Quick video today on what Shield Arms is releasing tomorrow, Friday, May 28. Many of you have seen the teasers that they posted on Instagram, and I've gotten some DMs about it asking me if I know what it is, and I'll say this. I'm already preparing my b-hole for your comments of, oh, well, that's all it is, and I'll give it to you. This release isn't as exciting as, say, something else that Shield Arms has coming down the pipeline shortly, but it's still pretty neat for Glock fans like you and me. And I've been kind enough to include chapter markers. So if you want to skip through straight to the reveal, thumbs down the video, and finish getting ready for homeroom, then go right ahead because this guy values your time and your mom's almost done with breakfast. But before the big reveal, let's do a brief recap of what the Shield Arms S15 is. If you don't know about it already, Shield Arms basically changed the concealed carry game for Glock owners. The Glock 43X is one of my favorite concealed carry pistols, and from the factory, it comes with a 10-round single stack magazine. However, my buddy Brandon at Shield Arms, smart guy that he is, figured out that you can actually get a full 15 rounds into the ultra-thin Glock 43X. It makes for an extremely lightweight package while still managing to hold 16 total rounds, which is the standard capacity for the heavier and thicker Glock 19. All you have to do is remove this little plastic shell from the 10-round magazine that the Glock 43X comes with from the factory, make it all steel, and boom, you've got 15 rounds versus 10 rounds in the exact same package. As I said, this has totally changed the game for Glock because at this moment in time, Glock doesn't make a true micro-compact double stack like, say, the SIG P365 or the Springfield Hellcat. But because of Shield Arms' ingenuity, the Glock 43X is, in fact, the most efficient carry gun today, as I determined in my 5 most efficient carry guns video. With the Shield magazine, you get the most rounds per ounce of gun weight from the Glock 43X than anything else in its class. On top of that, Shield also started manufacturing a +5 extension, which of course sticks out somewhat, but it still makes a great backup magazine or a range magazine holding 20 rounds of 9mm, which is freaking incredible for a gun this size. And let's be honest, it looks pretty BA too. Side note, Shield Arms recommends that you use an aluminum magazine release with these magazines. Because Shield magazines are metal, they can wear away your polymer magazine release. Interestingly, this isn't caused by inserting and removing the Shield magazines. It's actually caused by a minute seesaw action that occurs when you're firing the gun. It causes the metal magazine catch hole here to kind of work on the magazine release while you're firing it. Therefore, I would just get a Shield release or an aluminum magazine release, something comparable. So now it's time for the big reveal. Tomorrow, Shield Arms is going to be releasing the Shield Arms S15 magazine Gen 2. So not a whole ton has changed between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, but I think most people are going to be pretty happy with the minor improvements that Shield's made to this magazine. First, left-hand shooters are going to be happy because the original Gen 1 magazines only had a magazine cutout for right-hand eject. The Gen 2, you can see, has magazine cutouts on both sides of the body, right or left magazine releases, which I think is going to be a pretty big deal. So if you're a left-handed shooter, you have your magazine catch on the left-hand side, you're still going to be able to use the S15 magazine. Second, as you can see here, Shield is using a different floor plate. Here's the floor plate on the Gen 1, here's the floor plate on the Gen 2. Not only is it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but you can see here, it's got little contours, and these contours will give you a little bit better grip if you need to rip the magazine out of the gun for one reason or another. And they're also much better looking. Next, the Gen 2 magazines have an updated follower. This follower will be gray, and I'm expecting it to be more reliable than the original Gen 1. Not that the Gen 1s were ever unreliable. I have thousands of rounds through my Gen 1 magazines. I've never had a failure, so I've never been like, oh man, you know what? They really need to change the follower in this thing. But they did. Side note, some people complain about the fact that the original Gen 1 magazines, if you look at them from the rear, they tilt a little, like they're not even. That never bothered me. It's not something I would care about, but it seems like that issue has been eliminated. That issue air quotes, has been eliminated with this new follower because it looks like they fit nice and even with the gun. Finally, Shield magazines have a little spine that runs across the front of the magazine body that you can see here. Because Shield magazines don't have that plastic shell that factory Glock magazines have, that means there's a lot more space, and they need to kind of occupy some of that space in the front and the rear so they don't wobble too much inside of the magazine well. And that's what this little spine does. It kind of occupies that space. It's been updated where it's a little bit thicker and a little bit shorter. It also has a more beveled section here at the top of the spine. This should actually make mag changes easier. After all, it's easier and it makes sense to insert something smaller into a larger hole, especially under stress. I'm going to pause right now so you can type your joke in the comments. But you get what I'm saying. The Gen 1 magazines have a non-beveled spine that runs the entire length, so they're actually a little bit thicker at the top than the new Gen 2 magazines, which means that these magazines should be slightly easier to insert, especially under stress, than the Gen 1 magazines. It's a subtle but smart upgrade. Other than that, pretty much everything is the same. The same gun compatibility, the same accessory compatibility. You can use the +5 extensions, the +0 extensions. You can use it in a 43X or a 48, but this time right-handed or left-handed. I mean, if you guys saw my original review, we were dropping these magazines on a concrete floor, fully loaded, and sliding it down to 50-foot long range, and it still worked fine. The mags didn't break. So these Gen 2 magazines are also going to be just as robust. It's also going to work with the same magazine holsters you've been using, or Neo mags or whatever if you've got that. Really, the only non-commonality are the followers, which are not going to be interchangeable between the two. Oops. Shield says they also plan on introducing more finish options for the Gen 2. At present time, the Gen 1s come in electroless nickel or in standard bluing. I've got both. I prefer the nickel, but they're both fine. I don't know what the new finishes are going to be, and I don't know if there's going to be a price difference between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, although I imagine that there may be. I also imagine that we're going to find all that out tomorrow. So that's it. But before I turn the video off, I wanted to make one minor musing, one comment. If my boys at Glock are watching this video, this really raises the question, is it now time to switch the magwell of the Glock 43? If you don't know, the smaller Glock 43, not the 43X, but the 43 is a single stack 6-round capacity gun, super compact, uses the same slide as the 43X, and they're very similar, but there's maybe a 1/10 of an inch difference or less with just the magazine well. That means that you can't use Glock 43X or Shield magazines in the smaller Glock 43. There are no doubt some people who are going to appreciate carrying the much smaller Glock 43, as I do from time to time if I need something ultra compact, ultra lightweight to carry. But wouldn't it make more sense if you made the 43 like the 43X subcompact, right? Like it had a smaller grip, it was lighter, and it could use not only flush fit magazines from Glock, but also the 10-round Glock 43X magazines or the 15 or 20-round Shield magazines. I mean, it's got to be possible. The magazine release is in the same place, the cuts are in the same place in the magazine. Literally, the slide's the same thing. It's something worth thinking about. That is, trying to get the 43, the 43X, and the 48 to all accept the same magazine pattern. All you need to do is make the Glock 43 grip, the magwell, just a smidge fatter, and you're good to go. We're talking literally 1/10 of an inch, and that's something that I'd like to see. But in the meantime, we've got the 43X with the Shield magazines. The Gen 2s are coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for the official announcement. I know, everybody wanted it to be a little bit more groundbreaking than slightly different geometries and the spine and the follower and the base plate and all that shit. I know you wanted it to be a little bit more exciting, but stick around because Shield has something pretty exciting coming up shortly. Not that I know, just guessing. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.